All right, hello. My name is Keegan and I'm here with Peyton, and we are going to be doing topic two, blended learning. EM5 lists the five types or five steps of planning. Those are define objectives, which are basically when you figure out what your goal is or what you want to achieve. Next is determine current status compared to objectives. That's where you figure out where you are and where you need to be. Develop premises regarding future conditions and generate alternative scenarios for what will happen, what may happen. That's a fancy way of saying that you come up with different possible situations that may affect your end goal and you adjust your plan to fit those scenarios. Next, analyze alternatives and make a plan. That's where you come up with all the different scenarios that could happen realistically, and then you plan around those in case those happen, and then you make a plan. So describe the personal experience where so my personal experience, my objective was my freshman year, I wanted to get a 4.0, and that was my objective. And compared to my current status, I had nothing because I was starting the year, so I had zero for everything. Scenarios, I thought of different scenarios, such as my teacher getting sick, or me getting sick, or him or her assigning more homework than I was expecting, or something like that. All these different scenarios to add that could affect my GPA. And I planned around them. I came up with different plans to work around them. Like I would get most of my homework done a week early, so that way, in case I was assigned any extra homework or anything like that, I was prepared and had the necessary time to do that assignment. And that was the plan I made. My evaluation for my plan that I was implemented, I think I did pretty good considering I achieved my goal of getting a 4.0 GPA my freshman year. I learned a lot from this process. I learned that people need goals and a clear objective of what they need to do, because how is someone supposed to obtain something if they don't even know what it is that they have to obtain? I learned a lot about myself from this as well. I learned that I can achieve a short-term or long-term goal as long as I have a clear objective in mind and as long as it's challenging but not overwhelming. Thank you.
All right, so EM16, what significance does inclusion have on the morale of an organization? Typically, morale will just increase when everyone is included and accepted. Now, what is inclusion, or how does it relate to multicultural organizations? Just being in a multicultural organization, they need to include everyone no matter what, whether that's race or gender identity or just their culture in general. And this just kind of creates a respective atmosphere altogether. Now, identify countries with low context cultures and high context cultures. A low context culture or country is the US, or in Germany, while high context are China and Russia. Why is it important for managers to be aware of these cultural differences? It's important because sometimes people might get offended if they do something that the other culture doesn't really do. So, say us as the US are low context, meaning we like to communicate more. And if they try to communicate verbally more with somebody from China who might uh, do something like social cues or just kind of touching, they could get offended in that way. All right, so next slide. All right, so define proxemics. This is just how people use interpersonal space to communicate. Now, people from the US like to have their personal space, while those from Japan usually are more touchy and just like to be kind of closer together rather than us, like right now, like to be 6 feet apart. So, how does the US fall under the five value differences? The US has a low power distance and a low uncertainty avoidance, meaning they are fine with taking risks. And if that doesn't pan out, then they'll just move on to the next thing. They are more towards individualism, um, and they're masculine but closer to being feminine nowadays. And they're more short term thinking. Now, Japan, they are close to low power distance, but are also kind of in the middle of being high power distance, while they also do not like to take risks, making them high uncertainty. They are in between individualism and collectivism, and they are more masculine. And Japan, just as a whole, is more long term thinking as a culture. So these results do not surprise me much because I've kind of seen people from Japan and they are not really exactly like our culture in the US. So that is our topic 2, blended learning. Thank you.